Welcome to the Tampa Bay IIBA chapter. Today is January 29th, 2026. I am really excited about today. I've been waiting for it literally for 6 months. Today, we're going to be talking about the CBAP prep. Why do you even want a CBAP, and what does it take to earn? Uh, Let me introduce myself. My name is Thea Soehren. I'm the president of the Tampa Bay IIBA chapter, this chapter. I've been in business analysis for about 30 years. I've been in a lot of different industries. I've had the honor of contributing to the BABOK 3.0 and founding the BA Force Multiplier movement. All that is to say, I'm here to help you. So reach out. Let me do an intro really quick. Those of you who are new to the IIBA, the International Institute of Business Analysis, we are a global governing body for the business analysis profession. With more than 30,000 members and 120 chapters worldwide, 7 internationally recognized certifications, we're committed to making the world better one business, one project, and one life at a time. The IIBA serves as the global standard-setting organization for business analysis. Because of this leadership, the most respected and widely recognized certifications in our profession come from the IIBA, grounded in the internationally adopted BABOK guide. What are the benefits of joining the IIBA? Not only do you get access to training provided by the 120 chapters across the globe, you get complimentary access to 25,000 outstanding books, webinars, videos, including the BABOK, and then additional resources. The website is phenomenal, I want to say. You get discounts on certification exams that exceed your membership rate. In fact, we recently put a recording out on YouTube channel explaining all of this in more depth. You're welcome to review it. You might want to go to the IIBA.org and not only see all the new things that they have, but try the new BABOK Guides Technique Simulation that's in beta. It's only going to be in beta for about 2 more weeks, and they want feedback. They want you to quality check it. So IIBA chapters are in major cities around the world. If there isn't an active chapter near you, we can talk about you starting a chapter, or you're welcome to the Tampa Bay IIBA. Members of our chapter are not restricted to residents of Florida. In fact, we have members in our chapter from literally all around the globe. So if you do not have an IIBA chapter, Tampa Bay could be your chapter. Our vision here at the Tampa Bay IIBA is building a thriving community of empowered business analysts. So why would you choose to join our chapter? We offer multiple training sessions each week, including CBAP prep and coaching, and an acclaimed SDLC workshop, among other things. You can view our upcoming events at our website, and the events are updates and posted on LinkedIn and Facebook. Thank you to Cliff. We also have events on our YouTube channel. We've tried to record our events. We have probably almost 400 there now. And it's hard to find what you need if you don't know where it is. So RP Churchill, Robert Bob Churchill, has created an index for us. We call it Bob's Amazing Index. And I encourage you to go check it out. It has not only CBAP classes, but it also has a bunch of other stuff that we've done. This is our board. These are the folks who work behind the scenes for your benefit. We do appreciate them working so diligently to benefit all of our participants. All of that work has gone into us achieving the Global Professional Development Award for the IIBA amongst all the other chapters. We won this award last year. We are on track to win it again this year, and we're planning on it. It also has the results of these students reaching out to tell us that our training and mentoring was a big part of the success in achieving their certification. Many of these are part of our study group, and several studied along with us using only our YouTube videos. But of these 30 folks, a majority have gone on to lead IIBA chapters or organizations here and around the world because we make leaders here. I want to take a moment to appreciate all of our partners. Our number one partner group, though, is you, IIBA members, and those who participate in our chapter. We're partnered with over a dozen other IIBA chapters worldwide, bringing the good from them to you and from you to them. We're mentoring 3 chapters that are just now forming right now. We've partnered with the Dovac Group based in the UK, and then these other organizations in the Tampa Bay area. We've successfully partnered with several recruiting companies and helped people find jobs and training companies. Our goal, as always, is to elevate our BA community. Benefits of our partnership is that you get discounts. The Watermark Learning Organization has given you a discount of 40% off of several of their products, including their training. This means that you can get unlimited access to their test bank with a 40% discount. Watermark tools are the tools that I use for CBAP training classes, and many of our students have expressed how effective these tools are. Adaptive US has given us a 20% discount on all their live classes and on-demand courses, excluding IIBA exam vouchers. They also have 90 free items, webinars, articles on their website. It's an impressive place to check out. Coming up very soon is the BA Life 2026 conference. Right now, you can get a discount that's going to go through, I think the end of this month. So you only have a few more days. February 3rd, in just a few days, you also have the IIBA yearly membership rates are going to increase. Depending on which region you're in, it's going to increase. And some countries are just moving up in regions. So now is the time to renew if you can. If you can renew for 2 or 3 years, you're locking in the rate for 2 or 3 years. February 4th, there is a member webinar with the IIBA, AI Governance Regulations, impacting AI development. You can go ahead and register for that now. On February 5th, Shweta is going to come talk to us about leading without authority. You know, as BAs, we don't get to make decisions very often, but there is a way for us to lead, and she's going to talk about the ins and outs of that. February 6th, the early bird pricing is going to stop for Project Summit in Orlando. Two of our own, Seamus and Bob, are going to be there again to speak this time and run a booth. And so if you are interested in attending it in person in Orlando, Florida, you can go to this website. If you want a group discount, you can contact Jennifer White. On February 7th, we are going to have a workshop. David Verbanik is going to come talk to us for 7 hours about software testing for business analysts. David is an excellent presenter, and it's really important that as BAs, we understand where our work is going and who's going to be testing it. So learning software testing is a really critical skill. On February 12th, Scott Ambler is a best-selling New York Times author and one of our leaders. He's one of the most influential thinkers in the modern agile practices. He's going to come talk to us about data skills for business analysts. Early bird discount is going to end on February 12th for the Building Business Capability Conference that's going to be held in Toronto, Canada in person. You get a 20% discount if you pay for your tickets before the 12th. SoftEd is giving you a free event on February 12th also. They're going to talk about AI as your software testing partner, strategies every team should know. If you don't know about SoftEd, they're an excellent training company, and they're giving us free stuff. Free is good. Another free thing, Tawo is going to come talk to us about insights to action on February 19th, automating business workflows with MS Fabric and Power Automate. This is a game changer for people that are trying to automate. It's not so hard. It doesn't require so much coding. It's pretty darn easy, but he's going to show it to us. And then February 26th, Rochelle Tan is going to come back and talk to us. She was here last week. She's coming back in a month. Bottlenecks to breakthroughs, how problem-solving workshop unlocks sustainable improvement. This is a real business case. She's going to talk to you about what really happened in her world, in her work, and it's quite wonderful to see. Okay, so if you are interested in more training, you can go to our website at tampabayiba.org, or you can look at it at our articles that we put in the LinkedIn on the LinkedIn group, the IIBA Tampa Bay chapter in Florida, USA. Cliff does a fantastic job of promoting our events there. We also have our events on YouTube. And of course, one more time, rpchurchill.com is the index to all of our events on YouTube. You can look at it by who spoke, what their topic was, what part of the BABOK was being taught. It's all good. Okay, now for our presentation. One more time, this is what we're talking about. This is who I am, but let me explain why I'm the one talking to you about the CBAP. I joined the IIBA many years ago, and by the second meeting, I was the vice president of training for the Kansas City chapter. I taught the BABOK version 2. That's what we had at the time. I was asked to help write the BABOK version 3. I was on a team of 4 people that wrote chapters 9, 10, and the glossary. 9 is underlying competencies. 10 is all 50 groups of techniques. And then, of course, you know what a glossary is. I taught the BABOK 3 for years. I moved to Tampa, Florida, got involved with the Tampa IIBA. I became the vice president of career and professional development, and I have since taught the CBAP class prep study. We've had over 30 successes. These are 30 people that have come back that said this was the reason they passed. I know there are more, but these are the only ones we claim. So we proudly claim them, and I'm looking forward to the new people that are going to go on this sheet. We again are in the running to finish the Tampa Bay chapter, again being one of the award winners. I'm hoping for chapter of the year. And then I took this whole thing to work, and I'm doing it there. So we have more successes every time I teach a class. So this is the agenda. What is the IIBA and the BABOK? I've already told you the IIBA. I'll skip that part. I'll tell you about the BABOK. What is the CBAP? Why earn the CBAP in 2026? Eligibility and requirements, application information, exam format and expectations, study strategies and preparation plan, test taking tips, and final encouragement. So let's just jump in there. We're going to jump to what is the BABOK? So the IIBA has a handbook very similar to PMI's PMBOK. Ours is called the BABOK, the Business Analysis Body of Knowledge, not Book of Knowledge. This book has over 500 pages of goodness. It contains the framework by which we can easily communicate with business analysts worldwide using the same techniques and positively impact projects, workplaces, and lives. The BABOK is not an easy read, and those who strive to earn the certification must put in real effort into this study. I want you to understand this is not a 2-day class, and poof, you have letters after your name. Many employers value the increased value that's brought by those holding the BABOK certifications. The BABOK is in so much demand that it's been translated into 8 languages, and additional 3 translations are underway. So again, just as PMI has their PMBOK, this is our BABOK, the Business Analysis Body of Knowledge. It's evolved over the years, and I want you to understand what goes into it. 514 pages, 11 chapters, 6 knowledge areas, 29 underlying competencies, 5 perspective, and 50 techniques categories. Some categories have 3 or 4 techniques underneath them. You need to understand all of this to be able to pass the test. So what is the test that we're talking about? We're going to talk about the CBAP. These are the 3 tests that are run off of the BABOK. This one right here is for people who have no experience at all. They haven't been a student, they graduated high school maybe. This is for people that have business analysis experience of about 3 years. This one is for people that have 5 years or more. That's the one we're talking about today. So the CBAP is the globally respected senior level certification, highest level certification, and it's for experienced business analysts. It signifies that you have, as a CBAP holder, a deep demonstrated mastery of business analysis practices, techniques, and leadership level competencies. It's looking for those people that are looking for the senior level positions. You know, you've been a business analyst for a while, you've done the job, you kind of understand, and now you want to get into strategy. Now you want to help make decisions with the organization. You want to move up in the organization? This is what it's made for. So why earn it this year? Well, let's back up and talk about the Global State of the Business Analysis report that came out from last year. This came out in November 2024. It came out 2024. 2,380 professionals from 171 countries provided feedback to this study. I'm going to explain the authenticity of the study first. 171 countries, you can see it's a truly worldwide response. Half the respondents were for men and the other half were for women. The age groups were evenly distributed. The respondents worked in so many different places in the company. It's not just IT. It's IT, it's a business, it's the PMO, the Center of Excellence, Community of Practice. It's everywhere. And the top 5 industries, information technology led, but then you got banking, other, healthcare, pharmaceutical, and government. So talking about salary increases for these people from all over the world, certification is a consistent driver of earnings potential. So going back to the certifications that the IIBA offer, again, these 3 are the ones for the BABOC. The other 4 are not for the BABOC. They are specialty certifications, but these 3 all come from only the BABOC. If you have a CBAP certification, the average from around the world, and this is including countries that the average cost salary is $6,000 in their money. The average from around the world is $97,000 a year. And the people that responded to the survey and the people that I've worked with all say that having the certification gives you increased confidence and gives you increased knowledge. One of my students told me it's so much easier to say, this is what we need to do, because I know that's what the BABOC teaches as best practices. Certification forces you to learn the techniques and theories and formulas, and it equips you to have actionable ideas that are ready to go. The people that responded to the survey, 95% of them endorse the CBAP. And the people that responded to the survey said these are the techniques that they use. Every one of them is taught in the CBAP, and we will work through that in the class. So that's from the Global State of Business Analysis report from 2025. So this is what I just said, especially the strengthening credibility and confidence and supports movement into strategic leadership roles. The next part is I'm going to give you a disclaimer. This is my own experience. It's my own opinion. This is not a guarantee of success. I cannot control outside factors. Certification is not magic. However, let me show you the logic of certification. Let's say you're a hiring manager. You receive 21 applications for the job that you need somebody specific for. You eliminate several immediately because they don't live in the correct area or they don't have the correct nationality, citizenship, whatever. And you have to eliminate a few more because they lack the correct skills. But then you have 7 left. They have the correct skills. Where do you start? You see 5 of them belong to the IIBA, the global governing body for business analysis. 4 of the 7 have worked to earn certifications showing their understanding of the IIBA materials. And then you notice that one of them has exactly the certifications that you're looking for, and they're a leader in an IIBA chapter. So you go from this, looking at everybody, to this. Can you see what certifications made this person stand out and these other people are close seconds? I checked these numbers 2 days ago. The number of people holding these certifications. The ECBA has 19,000 people holding the certification. You need no experience. It tells you that you have some knowledge. The second one, for people that hold the CCBA for 3 years or more of experience, there's not even 2,000 people that hold this one. And then you look at this one, the Certified Business Analyst Professional. You've got almost 14,000 people in the world that have passed this test. You know that every one of them know how hard it is to earn. Their spouses, their coworkers, and their bosses know how hard it is to earn and what value they bring to the table. So whenever I also looked at where it is in job postings, this is what I saw. Look how many jobs across all the platforms are looking for either required or preferred the CBAP was literally named in the job. So why earn the CBAP in 2026? If you're a business analyst and you're experienced, just by studying it, you're going to be reminded of things to consider. You're going to be reminded of techniques that you might use. You're going to look at your work more strategically rather than down in the weeds. And you're going to maybe discover some things that you could be doing better. This is an example of what you'll see on the IIBA website whenever you've earned the certification. You can see exactly what he's earned. You can see where what activities he's been in, and it's out there for everybody. The only time this is not on the IIBA website is if you say, I don't want my information to be on the website. You can be private, but they also have this ability where you can say, okay, I'm looking for someone with this certification that lives in this town that's looking for a job, and it will show them your name, your information. It's pretty cool. Any questions so far?
One question in the chat, that is this
Okay.
worldwide? Is
So
this
I'm sorry.
worldwide?
Yes, it's worldwide. The IMBA is worldwide. The certification is worldwide. Okay. We'll talk a little bit more about that near the end. Let's go into eligibility and requirements. What would make you eligible to be able to even take the test? So to apply, you got to meet the IIBA's requirements of about 3.5 years of BA work within the last 10 years. So that means within the last 10 years, you need 3.75 years of work. Let me tell you that BA work is bigger than what you think. If you don't think you have 3.5 years, I pretty much guarantee you're wrong. And I'll be glad to have the conversation with you. I can show you how being a student, being an analyst, being an auditor, a whole bunch of different things has BA work in it. So I'll show you that. You also need 35 hours of professional development in the last 4 years. My class is going to give you 35 hours of professional development. So you've got that. You need 900 hours of your work experience in at least 4 of the 6 Babok knowledge areas. If you've never read the Babok, you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll go over that and I'll help you with your application. You also need 2 professional references. They need to be a manager, a client, or a CBAP that's known you for at least 6 months. By the time we get finished with this, I will have known you for 6 months. And you also need to agree to our code of conduct and our certification terms and conditions. Now, the exam format and expectations. As I said, the Babok is what it's based on, but it's a proctored exam, which means that you'll go to a location, that you'll prove to them you are who you say you are by showing them your government issued ID. They will check that against your name in the IBA. They will search you. They will make you give them your phone and your watch and check your ears for, I mean, they check to be sure you're not cheating is what they're doing. And then they put you in a cubicle and they will watch you to be sure that you're not pulling something out of your sleeve they just want to enforce the integrity of the exam so that nobody cheats. That way they know everybody earned the credibility. The results will be provided on the screen about 2 minutes after your test is submitted. So you know right then. That 2 minutes, though, is the longest 2 minutes of my life. So what does it take to pass? You got to master the Babok. You got to train on a large volume of scenario-based questions. You got to follow a structured study plan, which includes schedule and accountability, which my training does. And it typically takes 120 to 160 hours of study. That's about 4 to 5 hours a week for 7 months. By the time we finish our study group, you will have the information and confidence to be able to pass the test, but it takes work, and you only get out of it as much as you put into it. You got to complete the application successfully, and while you're taking the test, you got to maintain a calm pacing and strategy, and we'll work through strategy before we get there. It's my goal with getting you into the class is that when you sit down in front of the computer to take the test, that you have the knowledge and confidence to be able to just sit there and answer the questions. You don't have to sit there and go, oh, I wish I'd studied more. You're not going to have that problem. So application information. To complete the application, as I said earlier, you must understand the BABOC. In this study group, we have a meeting set aside to review the application and spreadsheet, but it's deep into the course. You have to understand the BABOC before you can fill out the application. And then you can set up one-on-one meetings with me and we can go through your application to be sure it's ready to submit. When you start an application, if you don't touch that section for 10 days, the system locks it. So you don't want to do that either. So your ID, as I said earlier, it needs to have the same name with the IIBA as your government issued ID. So if you have a maiden name on one and a married name on the other, or a nickname on one and not on the other, they won't let you take the test. You've got to be sure it's the same. Your resume is your friend. This information is critical for your application because we need to know the date you started a job and the date you finished a job and who your references were and what their website was. Things that most of it's going to be on your resume, but I'll show you how to find the rest if you need to. And I'm going to also show you how to group your projects by project types to make it easier to put it in. You wouldn't put in every single 1 hour training. You would say these trainings from the Tampa Bay IIBA it was 43 hours or whatever it's going to be. And that way you don't have to do it one at a time. Applications can be immediately accepted. They'll send you an email almost immediately. They will wait until they check your references, and what they do is they send an email to those people and they wait until they respond that yes, what you submitted is true, or they will be fully audited. I've not seen very many fully audited lately, but I don't get to talk to everyone. We have an application spreadsheet to make your application easier. It will help you do the math, it will break it down, and it makes it where you know that you've accounted for 100% of your BA work for your application and that you have enough hours before you start filling out your application. And then upon your application being accepted, you have a full year to take your CBAP test. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, I'll move on. We're going to talk about study strategies and your preparation plan. It's important that you block dedicated study time. And if you don't come to my study group, that's fine, but you have to block dedicated study time and you've got to be consistent. You can't skip a week. I've had people literally, we were 3/4 of the way through our class and she said, I'm going to take the week of Thanksgiving off and just be with my family. She came back the next week to study group and cried because she knew that information the week before, but she lost it because she wasn't using it consistently. If it doesn't stay in your brain, if it's not used, it's going to get lost. I do suggest that you join a study group or have an accountability partner. It's too easy to say, you know what, I think I'm going to take a break. I'll start this in, next month, and then it doesn't happen. I have 50%, 75% of the people that start, if they don't have accountability in it, they don't finish it. Schedule a regular mock exam. I'll show you how to do that. And review and refine your plan as you go. If you find something that's not working, if your energy level isn't right for that time of day that you want to study, you're going to have to change something. Honor your own energy rhythms. If I have more energy in the morning to study and than I do in the evening, evening is not whenever I should be doing it. And what should work for some people won't work for others. Some people need silence, other people need music. You need bright lights, you need dim lights, you need flashcards. I can't use flashcards, I lose flashcards. You need to set boundaries with people and distractions so that your study time is treated as non-negotiable. Choose the tools and methods that fit your learning style, your visual, auditory, kinesthetic, or mixed. Figure out what you need. What you used in high school is probably what you'll use now, but you're going to have to try some things. I personally love highlighters. I needed my highlighters. Give yourself permission to pace your learning, whether that means slowing down for comprehension or speeding up when your confidence is strong. You need to take breaks intentionally, not to avoid studying, but give yourself a chance to think about what you've learned. And then you need to acknowledge whenever you need help, whether that's asking questions or reviewing recordings or engaging with somebody to say, I just need to talk through this with somebody. Have people you can talk through things with. The BABOK is going to align with your experience about 90% of the time. Let me explain. If you read through the BABOK, you're going to read through it and go, yep, that's what I would do. Yep, that's what I would do. And then you're going to hit something and go, that is not what I would do. That doesn't even make sense. So here's what I'm going to tell you. When we were writing the BABOK, we were instructed to write for an international audience in a generic industry. That's not a real thing. So what they did is they made it where it would fit the most situations possible. Think about it like this. If you were to go to a brand new company, got a brand new job, and they came to you and they said, in this company, we have a PMO, and the PMO wants you to fill out this form for every single project. You would fill out the form because that's what they need for their company. Well, for this test, they need you to learn it the way they teach it so that you can say this is ideal, but in the real world, sometimes it's not ideal. So you need to learn the material the way the BABOK presents it. The BABOK presents concepts and guidelines. We are going to learn those, but then we're going to learn how to relate those to scenarios that as you study so that you will be able to remember this is what I would do in this situation according to the BABOK. And usually it's exactly what we do in real life. You're going to understand how the BABOK is organized. First of all, the knowledge areas are not sequential. You don't do this linearly. This is the chapters in the BABOK. The introduction and business analysis, these are foundation chapters. These are easy. I would suggest that you go ahead and read this if you want to. Then the next thing is underlying competencies and techniques. These are totally different. These orange ones here in the middle, this is what we call knowledge areas. You'll hear people that are studying call it KAs because we get tired of saying knowledge areas. These are our KAs. The KAs have a specific structure. They start with an overview, then they have the BACCM, then they have the input-output diagram for the entire KA, and then they have tasks. Also, within tasks, that's organized in a specific way that they come in under these headings. It's important that you understand the structure because it will help you compare different tasks. If you say the input for this is one thing, the input for this is something else, it helps you understand and relate to it and grasp it. And then talking about techniques, I told you there's 50 technique groups. If you just look at the technique groups one after another, you get brain dead. You can't relate it to anything because it's talking about how to do something, but not what you're doing. What I do is I have it set up where each of these techniques apply to the task that you're most likely to use it in. So as we're working through the task, we say, while you're looking at this task, also look at these two techniques. And you learn the techniques along with it. And we talk about using the techniques in that task. It helps you learn the technique better and remember it, and it helps you relate to it. And it also makes it where you don't have the techniques all by themselves. We also use Watermark Learning's test bank. This is what I told you earlier that they give us a discount on. It's 1,200 test questions divided up by the different knowledge areas. And we walk through this to test our ability to recall the information. It's like using data analysis to make decisions. It tells us where we need to study more, and it tells us specifically what we're getting messed up. The watermark stuff is also split up in the same way in depending on how you request it that the BABOK is. The CBAP is. You'll see that Chapter 7 has 30% of your test questions, so you really want to focus on Chapter 7. We use this just to be able to say, okay, everything else is pretty evenly split, but we know we've got to get a good score on Chapter 7, and it's one of the harder ones. Chapter 6, 7, and 8 are the hardest ones, and they're going to come last. Again, we do have the discount code with Tampa 21 with Watermark, and we use this a lot. So, study hints. When you're answering a question, you need to identify first what knowledge area is this question from, and then which task or tasks is it talking about. If you can limit it to just that task, the answer is easy. You don't have to think about all the different scenarios that you're going to be in. You're talking about a specific task. It makes it a whole lot easier to get the correct answer. Also, you want to identify your critical words. Words like technique, input, output, guidelines, stakeholder. This is important with the watermark test because it helps you understand what it's really asking. And then read each question carefully. It is common to miss words. In the study group, I actually read the question out loud, and then I read each of the four answers, and we eliminate one of the answers. I think that's the next thing. Eliminate the answers that are not the best. Sometimes in watermark, it's like, well, that answer is ridiculous. We don't even need to worry about that. It increases your chances of guessing to 33% for each answer that's left. When you get a question wrong, it's not a bad thing whenever you're studying. You just make a note of what you need. It identifies a deficit in your knowledge. And biggest thing now is don't spend time beating yourself up. It distracts you. It makes it hard for your brain to learn, and you miss out on the next things that are happening. So don't spend time beating yourself up. So plan your test date from the beginning. So make your commitment. We are going to start studying in February. We're going to turn our application in probably July or August. And you're going to study consistently throughout September while you get your scores up in each of the knowledge areas. And whenever we turn our application in and get it accepted, we're going to set our date for our test in early October. Set it now in your head. Say October 10th, October 5th, whatever's not a Saturday or Sunday. I'm going to take this test. I'm going to schedule it off. I'm going to schedule it on a Monday so that I can study for the weekend before the test. That's my date. I'm going to schedule it now. If you do that, you're a lot less likely to say, I'll wait until later because you've got this impending date. You've got to get it done. Any questions so far? Either I'm brilliant or y'all aren't listening. Do you have any question for real? I
No
want to know.
questions. This is very informative and very thorough.
Okay. We got more to go. Hold on. Okay, test taking tips and final encouragement. Taking the test. Again, plan your date from the beginning. It's so important. I said it twice. Mentally practice for the test facilities. Let me explain the test facilities. This is a proctored test, which means they will watch you. It's easier to go to a place to take it than to do it at home. If you do it at home, they have requirements. First of all, they want no books in the room. They want no art on the wall. See my wall? I would have to take all that down. They will make you show them with the camera underneath the desk that the drawers are empty. I've had people take the test in their hallway at home or in their bathroom at home. How comfortable is that? That was the only place they could find that met all the requirements. And then they're watching you while you're taking the test. So if you lean back and look up at the ceiling while you're thinking, they'll say, "What are you looking at?" They want to know that you're not cheating, right? So also you're responsible for your tech. That sometimes you have firewalls or virus protection or whatever, and it might not work with their stuff. You don't want to, I don't want to mess with it. I just go to a proctored location. I check in. You got to make a reservation. You check in. They will go through the process. You use their tech. They're responsible for it. If something's going wrong, you don't have to worry about it. Your job is to take the test. They do watch you. That it's not such a big deal there because they know you didn't bring in anything. If you lean back to look at the ceiling, they know there's nothing on the ceiling. You could take breaks during the test. They will check you again to be sure you didn't bring something out of like the bathroom. You come out, you take a drink of water. It's fine. You've got 3.5 hours. You can do this. You're not going to run out of time. So some people actually go to the test facility that they're planning on using and just look at it and go, okay, what would it be like to sit in that chair at that cubicle? I would be there, I'd be facing the wall, I'd have the computer in front of me, the mouse is there, there's a calculator available on screen. So that's what it's going to be like. So mentally prepare yourself. And then use the good habits that we use in study group. Things like eliminating answers that are not the best. It just makes it easy for you. You're not going to lose all that good practice by going to take the test. Be aware that the test screen layout and resources. I have a printout of what the test screen layout looks like. It's very similar to what we use from Watermark. I want to remove that learning curve for you so that whenever you get there, you don't have to become familiar with the screen. Remember the test format. You know you got 120 questions. You know you got 3.5 hours. We will talk about this in class, but you're going to skip the hard ones until later in the test. When you first open it up, for some reason, they put the hardest questions, the longest questions right there at the first. I tell people skip the first 25. Just go to number 26 and start there. You can come back. You're not going to lose your chance to do it. Just skip the hard ones. If you run into something that makes you feel frustrated, skip it. You can come back. Get the ones that are easy. And sometimes doing that makes you remember, oh, yeah, I remember that thing I'd forgotten. And then go back and do the hard ones, and you can spend more time on those. And then while you're taking the test, stay cool, stay calm, keep yourself paced. We'll talk about, in the last 15 minutes, if you're in this situation, do this. If you're in this situation, here's your strategy so that you can take care of it. But above all, do not spend time beating yourself up. That doesn't help anything. It just hurts. So I've gone through the agenda. Now we're going to talk about study group information. Our study group here at Tampa Bay is going to be from 8 until 9:30 at night Eastern time. That time is not going to work for some of you. It's going to be on a Thursday night. That day is not going to work for some of you. And I have an alternative for you, but I'm going to first tell you about the study group. My goal for the study group is to give you the 35 hours of classroom time that's going to allow you to qualify for the exam. I'm going to teach you how to fill out your application. I'm going to give you the knowledge and confidence to be able to pass your exam. I'm going to give you a study group community. You'll spend some time with these folks and you'll get close with them and you'll see their strengths and you'll see things that you admire and you're going to learn from them. In our conversations about why is this the best answer, you're going to hear things from them that's going to teach you things to pay attention to that you didn't get on your own. Things like, oh, you missed that word. Remember that word means whatever. You didn't see that. You just read the word. You didn't remember it means something specific. You're going to improve your performance in your work, in your job, and in your life because all of this is things that you can use all the way through. And you're going to increase your confidence. So our test tonight, this is the test prep that you're attending right now. The course enrollment is going to begin tomorrow at noon Eastern time. With the course, you also get the Watermark test book. Let me show that to you. For those in the United States, in not Alaska or Hawaii, you're going to get this book shipped to you. It's about the same size as the Babok, but the reason I love it is this. Whenever I was studying for the CBAP, I remember hitting chapter 7 and I read this one task 3 times and I thought, am I stupid? Because I was not understanding what it was telling me. And so I went to this book and I read it in this book and I went, oh, the Babok is talking about it in a conceptual way. This one turned it into a concrete way. So I understand now what the Babok was trying to say. This also has a lot of other good stuff in it. So we send this out. It's part of the price of the course. We send it out to all of you that are inside the United States. Those outside, we will send you a PDF. The course starts February 19th and it goes through September 17th. That's a long time. And other people don't do it that way. They kind of like, oh, you can learn it on your own. Not everybody can. Again, it's Thursday nights from 8 until 9:30 Eastern, and it's a virtual class. I have a limit of 20 students because I want to be sure that every student in the class has an opportunity to ask questions, to be heard, to set up time with me one-on-one, whatever you need. I have 20 students is all I can take. And the cost for it for IIBA members is going to be $150. For non-IIBA members, it's $200. That's 7 months of weekly classes and the book and the help and the mentoring for that price. People tell me I'm stupid for doing it that way, guys, but I don't want money to be a barrier in your success. I want to help you get to where you need to get to. If this is where you want to go, I'm going to help you with that. If you are ready to apply to schedule, I want you to go to, I'm sorry, this is tomorrow at noon. This is our website. You go to events, and then you go to this one right here in February. February 19th is when it starts. You're going to click on this and you're going to register and you're going to pay there. So for those of you who this time doesn't work, this day doesn't work, or you don't get in on the first 20 because I anticipate it filling up, there's an alternative. I'm going to start something called cohorts, and I will drop this in the chat at the end. What I'm doing is I'm taking names of people who are interested in doing a secondary study group. So what you're going to do is this. I'm going to teach the class on Thursday nights. I'm going to record it, and I'm going to put it on YouTube. You're going to be part of a cohort, say in Nigeria or the UK or another organization, and you're going to be part of that cohort. You're going to watch the video, study with the video from Friday morning until, say, Tuesday, whenever you meet with your cohort. In your cohort, for that hour per week, you're going to literally go through and say, you know what, I understood all the questions. I was surprised at this answer because of this. I didn't get this answer. Question 8, I didn't get that. So y'all can watch the video for question 8 and talk about why that's the right answer or why watermark is stupid or whatever you want to say. And then you can say, but this technique, I don't understand this technique. And you can dive deeper into it. I will be having questions, handouts. I have spreadsheets. I have all kinds of things that I'm going to be sharing with the cohort leaders that they will be sharing with you. So you're going to get the same information that you would get by taking the class with me, but you're going to have to do it in a cohort in a secondary manner.
You've gone mute somehow, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Thea, if you're talking.
We can't hear you anymore.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I didn't touch that, but I am now unmuted. My board, if y'all can watch to be sure that I don't get muted again, that would be really good. Okay, back to this. If you're interested in getting this book and you don't make it into my 20-person enrollment in my class and you want this book, we're able to offer it to you at a discount. Right now, I think the price is $89. If you're in the contiguous United States, we can get it to you for $75. If you're outside of the United States, for that same price, we can send you the PDF. I think it's worth it, but you have to make that decision. If you want to pay full price for it, you can go to Amazon and pay full price. It's totally up to you. Okay, let me get my slides back here in order. When we go through the chapters, we go through it in this order. It doesn't make sense to you by looking at it logically. Why wouldn't you go into it in the right order? It's because chapters 1, 2, and 9 are the foundation for the rest of it. You need to understand chapters 1, 2, and 9. And honestly, chapters 1, 2, and 9 are pretty darn easy compared to the rest of it. So we're going to start with easy wins. Then we're going to move into the knowledge areas. So this is what a sample of our class schedule will look like. And it's going to adjust a little bit because, for instance, if we're on March 26th and the folks haven't understood chapter 3 well enough, we're not going to be moving off chapter 3 until the folks in the class understand it well enough. And then we'll move to chapter 4. But we will stay on each chapter for 3, 4, 5 weeks, depending on how much we have to. And then we also add the application here in July. Excuse me. Beginning about July or August, we're going to start doubling up. We've gone through each of the chapters individually, and then we're going to start adding them back in until we do it just like we would for the test. Any questions? Okay.
We have questions in the chat.
Yes,
One
ma'am.
is there any cost for the cohort?
The cohorts, right now, I don't have anybody that said that they want to lead a cohort. And sorry, let me take some more water. Except for the UK. I've got several people that are interested in leading cohorts that are free. The UK, I think they're going to be charging because they're going to be providing the books themselves, and I don't know how much they're charging. But what I'm doing is I'm collecting the names and locations and information from the people who are interested in the cohorts, and then I'll provide those to the cohort leaders. If you're interested in leading a cohort yourself, you can sign up too. You don't have to have a CBAP to lead a cohort. You have to be committed to being persistent and really watching the videos so that whenever people say, I didn't understand question 8, you have a clue what they're talking about. You are going to be the face of our organization, of the BA community, for everyone in your cohort. So it's a lot of responsibility. But I'll give you that link in just a minute. So our chapter meeting, our chapter study group is going to be 31 days. It's going to give you 46 and a half hours of class time, which is more than you need. And I fully expect people to, I was sick that day. My car broke down and I was stuck and I couldn't get to Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi broke down. But being as consistent as possible is really important to be successful.
We have one
So,
more question, Thea,
yes,
regarding the
yes,
cost. Do
yeah.
you know the cost for the Access of Watermark practice test?
The watermark practice test, I think that for 30 days of unlimited access, at full charge, it's $90. But if you use our discount, you get 160 days for $90. So you can do the discount for any of that, but I think that's the price. I think it's $90, about 120 and then 160 for the increased amounts of days. Any more questions? Okay. Recommendations from past students. We get these pretty regularly, but they're eloquent and wonderful. They have good things to say about the type of environment that you're going to get in the study group. Being consistent though, and the more you lean in is really, really important. I like what he says here, though. It's more than just a study group. It became a community that supported my professional growth. Now, I said earlier that the membership rates were changing soon. They're going up. If you're a member, you get a discount on your test fees. So if you're a member, exam fee for a member and for a CBAP is $350. For exam fee for a non-member, this is with current rates, not the future rates, is $505. And then our savings right now is $155. So that's more than our current membership rate. And with membership, you get a whole bunch more. So you're saving money this way. So let me switch it to questions and I will drop that stuff in the chat for y'all. The links. Okay, for those of you who are interested in the class that I'm teaching, again, I'm going to drop this in the chat. There's the link for the class that I'm teaching. If you're interested in the cohorts, if you want to sign up for that one, or if you're interested in just getting the watermark book and you don't want to be part of the cohorts, use the same link. So there's the link to sign up for the cohorts or the watermark book, or both, whichever you want. What will happen is I'll be sending out the information as to, okay, we have 14 people that are interested in the cohort in this time zone. And so I've got 3 people that want to lead. So we're going to let y'all lead. I'm going to be mentoring the leaders if they are not IIBA chapters, and I'll be trying to help be sure everybody has what they need. So I see some questions. Ujas, I'm probably mispronouncing your name.
Nope, you're correct. Just a question on the registration that begins tomorrow for the CBAP prep.
Mhm.
I just clicked on the link that you had shared. What do we do from there? Like, is the registration link gonna be open on that
Yes.
particular? Okay.
I'm waiting until tomorrow at noon to give the people on the West Coast an opportunity, because if I start at 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern, they're not awake yet, and that's not fair. And so I'm trying to localize for my time zone, and then in the America time zone, and then I'll make cohorts in other locations. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. So okay. The noon would be when this will be activated. You mean
Yes.
this start?
Noon Eastern tomorrow. I'm going to turn it on, and it's going to go up to 20 and then stop.
Okay. So is that the registration form or the payment link, or how does that work? Like, what should we be ready with?
There's going to be a registration button there, and it's going to ask you to fill out your information and make your payment and submit it.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Let I'm going to double check. Let me just set expectations. For you to register, we're going to also want your mailing address and your phone number, because for us to ship the book out, we've got to have that information. So don't be surprised that that's there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome. What other questions do we have?
Looks like there's a copyright question about 2016 version. I would think that's too
Well,
old, right?
I actually, let me double check. Patients, copyright. This book was written not long after the Babok came out, and I'm not finding copyright on it. As long as it says version 3, that's really the most critical thing. It needs to be version 3. And if you have the Babok and it says version 2, you don't have the Babok. You got an old copy that's got half of the stuff in it, and it's not what you need to be studying. Be sure everything you say is version 3. Also, I'll tell you about this in class, but whenever you get the Watermark book and you get the Babok, this is what I do to my study stuff, because this book and the Babok is not designed to be opened over and over and over. Pages, the glue starts letting go and pages start getting loose. So I did this for mine, and I'll tell you how I organized it, but it makes it really easy to have the technique here and the knowledge area here, and you can look back and forth instead of moving your pages back and forth. As I said, I've got 3 spreadsheets and probably 5 handouts for questions that Watermark doesn't provide. I made up questions myself for the different chapters that Watermark doesn't have questions for, so that you have the same format that you're going to have in the exam, and you're learning the material together. So that's for chapters 1, 2, and 9. I've given you a lot of information here, guys. I know I have, and if you feel confused, please understand that I've seen this over and over and over. I've literally taught 1,000 people now. You start out overwhelmed, and I break it down into chunks like eating an elephant. We're going to start with just a little bit, and we work our way into it. And we're going to get to the place where you're going to work into it, and you're going to be excited. You're going to start learning. You're going to get excited. And then you're going to get to the place where you start getting tired. And you think, why am I doing this? But you have a goal. You have the same goal, and you have a date that's coming up. And so we're going to keep plugging together, and we're going to keep encouraging each other, and we're going to get through it. And by September and October, you're going to go, I've got this, and I'm ready to go. It's critical that you commit to taking the test. You don't commit to come and study a little bit and just learn a little bit, because if you don't take the test, you're not getting the payoff. The payoff is you get the letters after your name. people go, oh, you know what you're talking about because you got the letters after your name. You can put that on LinkedIn. You can put it, it shows up on IIBA. It shows up so many places. It's a really impressive thing, and people give you credibility that you didn't have otherwise. Okay, we are at time. Does anyone have any last questions?
One last question in the chat, that if they have the book, they don't need the book, but will there be any discounting price for joining the study group without a book?
I tell you what, Shanna, I will give you a discount. Let me send you a discount code because you don't need the book. You've got the book, and we don't need to charge you for us paying for the book. So, yeah, we can do that. All right, anything else? Okay, I look forward to making this journey with you. We're going to go at it as a team. Those of you who are in cohorts, you're going to be part of the team too. It's just you're not going to meet with us in person. I can come and visit the cohorts periodically, but first of all, I got to find people who want to be in the cohort, and I got to find people who want to lead the cohort. I'm looking for 3 leaders ideally for each cohort because one person's not going to be able to be there every single week. So if you're willing to be a leader, let me know in the form. If you just want the book, or if you just use that link that I put in the chat. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've talked a lot. You can tell I've talked a lot. If you have any questions, I'm available on LinkedIn to answer questions. I will talk to you next time. I'm looking forward to seeing who signs up and who decides to make their lives better. Oh, I see a hand up. Anything else? Okay, no more. All right, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you.